Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan. In this video, we are going to be talking about the expectations for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this upcoming season after they really were the story of free agency acquiring Tom Brady. And really quick before we get into that, if you're wondering why I'm not there at the table and on the screen instead, due to some of the precautionary measures taken in at the federal and state levels, we decided that it was best to practice our social distancing. They even got a longer table for you, so they're a good 6 feet apart, so we're taking all safe measures necessary during this time, but we're still here to talk about football.
Yeah, very important to do that, but we actually do have a replacement for you. You can't see it, but when you watch this video back, you'll be able to see your replacement. So, yeah. But it's a pretty nice replacement, I was going to tell you that. Alright, let's get talking about the video.
I look forward to seeing what it is.
Alright, good. Explain to us what the video is going to be again, so we can get rolling with it.
The expectations for the Buccaneers this upcoming season after they obviously, acquired Tom Brady, and that's really been the big story of free agency so far.
Alright, Jordan, get us started. Alright, so now the official Tom Brady contract has come out, so I'll explain all the official stuff of that first, just so we can get into the nitty-gritty of that, and then we'll start talking about the whole Buccaneers as a whole. So Brady to the Buccaneers, it was a 2-year deal worth $50 million, so it's going to be $25 million per year, and on top of that, you can earn an initial $9 million in incentives. So a pretty high-paying deal for Tom Brady. Didn't get that paid that much in New England, so has a chance to get paid a lot now in Tampa Bay. So obviously, Tom Brady, as you said, a Buccaneer. How's that going to change the team? That's going to change the team in a lot of ways, and that starts with the offense. They already have weapons there, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. We're going to talk about the number 12 with Chris Godwin in a second. And then, of course, their tight ends, O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate, both really have been stellar at times. So it's going to be really interesting to watch Tom Brady again with a lot of good wide receivers. Who knows who else they might bring in here with this team that people are starting to think, hey, this team has a chance to get a championship. Maybe people will want to come in and take discounts to play with the Buccaneers. What do you think about that, Ryan?
Yeah, I've actually seen things that there's been reports that there haven't been any names attached to these, but that some NFL players are saying they kind of want to hop on, the Tampa train because of Tom Brady. They want to go to Tampa Bay. I haven't seen any names with those players, just kind of like so-and-so wants to go to Tampa. I've seen multiple reports of that. And also, I've seen reports that Antonio Brown and Tom Brady still want to play together. I know that's really far-fetched, especially because they got a lot of good receivers already. But, it's definitely possible that we could see another big name or two heading down to Tampa within the next few weeks. It's all speculation at this point, though. But then also just adding on to your point about the receivers, I really think that had to be a factor for what drew Tom Brady away from New England to Tampa.
Yes.
Maybe first the weather, but then also, much better weapons in Tampa, because the big thing last year was Tom Brady just didn't have anyone to throw to, except Edelman.
Yeah, now there's plenty of weapons to throw to on the offensive side of the ball. They're still looking to fill that running back slot. Some free agents out there, they could do it in the draft, but this offense is looking like it's going to be pretty stacked. Oh, absolutely. They have especially in the passing game, we talked about this. The passing game stuff, that's all there. Now the question is, okay, on the offensive side first, you look at the offensive line and the running back position. Ronald Jones is staying with the team, but they'll probably go out and draft someone eventually, and so it might be a two-headed tandem for a while in Tampa Bay. We'll see how that works with them, but also, like I said, the offensive line want to help out Brady. Brady had some good offensive line work when he was with New England for a lot of the time. There were some years where he didn't, but for the most part, he did have a good offensive line. So with someone as old and, I hate to say it, but kind of fragile as Tom Brady, you want to make sure he gets protected.
He's going to be 43 next time he plays football, so.
Yeah. And this is a 2-year deal, so he's supposedly staying for 2 more. Yeah, who knows? What was that, Ryan?
Just saying at least 2 years.
Yeah.
I've already seen things that maybe because he say in the deal that he can't be tagged, so some people are interpreting that as a fact that he wants to play beyond this deal, which would be insane. That'd be like 45.
Maybe he said he wants to play till he's 45. Maybe he decides.
Yeah, he has, and as of right now, he could very well live up to that statement.
Yeah, I mean he lives by that TB12. His TB, what is it called? The workout, or it's like a TB12 method. The TB12 method. Yeah. The method, the lifestyle of Tom Brady. It's a pretty good one. Involves eating and working out as well. Other things to stay fit. I don't know the specifics about it. I just follow him on Instagram and obviously see all the TB12 stuff everywhere. Markets that pretty well. He does market that pretty well, but let's talk about this now since you kind of got us rolling on that TB12 type thing. And I brought this up earlier in the video. Chris Godwin, one of the star receivers on that team, guess what number he has? 12. Tom Brady could go to the Buccaneers organization, and we'll see. I think Chris Godwin said he's going to give him number 12, but that kind of takes away from the brand of TB12 if Tom Brady is not wearing the number 12 in New England.
Yeah, that would be crazy, but I do remember seeing that as well. Good move by Godwin. We're the GOAT's coming to your team. I think you just gotta, respect that and give him number 12. The whole, all the Super Bowls, everything he's done, he's been wearing that number 12. It's weird enough for us seeing him in a Buccaneers jersey. It'd be even weirder to see him in a number other than 12.
Yeah, 12 is where he's been 20 years in the NFL. Now year 21 on a team. Did anyone know the record off the top of their head last year? I'm not sure.
I think they... Maybe 7-9. I think they were 7-9. Tampa. Yeah.
Okay, so not exactly an excellent team, but now the best player of all time by many would say that joining them, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can turn it around. I don't know. They have a pretty good defense. They franchise tagged Shaq Barrett for one more year with this team. Bruce Arians, his second year as the head coach, he's starting to slowly turn that organization around. Do you guys think that this could happen in 1 year? Or is it going to take maybe the second year of Tom Brady's contract for this team to get rolling? Or will this team ever get rolling and will be an overhyped type of situation? I love that question, and I'll answer it in a second, but I just found something I wanted to share real quick on the Chris Godwin thing we were talking about. I know it's not a huge deal, but I found an exact quote from Chris Godwin, so may as well read it. When asked about the number thing with Tom Brady, he said, obviously, if he doesn't want it or he's not making a big deal of it, I'm definitely going to keep it. We'll see how that goes. I think just out of respect for what he's done, what he's accomplished, just the kind of career he's built up for himself, you have to lean into that respect, and he later said he's the GOAT. So, if he goes there, he'll probably be giving up his number. So, just want to share the exact quote, like to get some specifics, like to get my stats and stuff. Yep. So, now getting to Tyler's question about if it's going to take 1 year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know there's all the hype around it. With Tom Brady going there. But really, it's one person, and I know one person can really change the franchise, but I don't know how much. Him. Yeah, especially him. But I don't know if it's going to change in this 1 year. They're in a tough division. Still the Saints in the division. Panthers building up. They got Teddy Bridgewater as their guy. The Falcons, they're kind of the Falcons. They can be good and bad sometimes. They got not Devonta Freeman. They got Todd Gurley. They let go of Devonta Freeman, so a new face with them. The NFC South is going to be a really challenging division, so just in that in itself might make it hard for them to make a good run because it'll be hard to make the playoffs. Maybe with the extended playoffs, they can find a spot in there, or who knows, they could win their division. I'm not jumping on the hype train completely yet. I think they're going to be a better team. They have a lot of weapons. I think Tom Brady's going to do a good job in Tampa Bay, but I'm not really sure if it's going to be a 1 year turnaround. It's a 2-year deal, so I think they'll definitely be good. They'll definitely get a spotlight. I'm sure we'll see them on primetime a few times this year.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. But I don't think it's going to be a complete 1 year turnaround. Tom Brady can do it all, though. We'll see. It's a good-looking team looking straight at it, but we look near them in their division to the Falcons. We always say it about them. They're a good-looking team. We'll see how it all comes together. Ryan, what do you think about that?
Well, I think a lot of what you said there, Jordan, makes sense. And I think that Tom Brady, he is the greatest of all time, but he's also going to be 43 next time he steps on the field. And also remember how last year ended for him and the Patriots. His last pass as a Patriot is a pick six, so kind of unfitting, but just kind of goes to show that it didn't actually exactly end in a pretty way. But, I look at Tampa, and they've been very average for a long time, and Tom Brady certainly is kind of better than average, clearly. So I think definitely there is going to be some improvement because you look at Tampa, they lost 9 games and had a losing record. A lot of those games were very close games, and a lot of those games were lost because of, Jameis Winston throwing the ball to the other team. Jameis Winston's first and last pass as a Buccaneer were a pick six. How fitting is that? Tom Brady is going to be a much better decision maker. He's going to be he's going to bring in much more experience to that locker room, the veteran leadership. Bucs players are already thrilled that he's there, So it's just really a great opportunity for that locker room. But as far as on the field is concerned, I think they're a playoff team. But I just don't think at this point in Tom Brady's career that he can just carry a team to the Super Bowl. So I know the Super Bowl's in Tampa this year, and, no one's ever hosted a Super Bowl, if you will, before. By that being playing at their home stadium. So I know that's another history-making thing Tom Brady could do. But let's pump the brakes. I think they're a playoff team. You look at that 10-6 range right now because some things that Tom Brady doesn't do, he doesn't play secondary and he does not play offensive line. I do have concerns Tampa at those two positions, but they will be better, and I think they will be a playoff team.
And just one more thing I wanted to say, Ryan, you made some great points, and you kind of spurred this kind of thinking in my mind. Tom Brady, obviously, in my opinion, and so many other people's, I think it's very hard to negate this. He is the GOAT. So much that he's done in his career, the 6 Super Bowls, all that stuff, some great stat lines up there near Drew Brees in passing and touchdowns, and all of all time. So the GOAT, I will say that, but he is in a decline in his career, I would say, not in his prime. Still a great player, and obviously this deserves a lot of hype after 20 years with New England moving to a new team. But who knows? Tom Brady, of course, I think he's a great player to GOAT. Don't get me wrong. So much respect for Tom Brady. But last year with the Patriots, I did see him in a bit of decline. Sometimes he would miss some throws, take some hits, and kind of get messed up after that. Didn't always look like a Tom Brady we saw win those 6 Super Bowls when he was in his prime. So Tom Brady's still a great quarterback, still a huge story with him going to Tampa Bay. But no guarantee he performs like an MVP, like all the hype is saying right now.
But I think with Tom Brady's worth ethic, the fact that he could go into a new place, into a new organization, and people that really haven't got to experience Tom Brady's mentality, that's going to have an effect on the entire team.
Tyler, no, you don't understand. They just experienced Jameis Winston's mentality. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah. They know what it's like
to W's down there.
I mean, they sure do know what it's like to watch the balls fly over their heads and get intercepted. But back to my point, with Tom Brady, he comes into the locker room. That affects everyone. You watch him and you say, "Dang, I got to start doing stuff like he is if I want to be that good." And the guys start motivating themselves to be more like Tom Brady. And the result of that, the team is better as a whole. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, when you have some great leadership on a team, we've seen it with Tom Brady. We've seen it with some other players like Drew Brees or whatnot. A lot of great players with some great leadership. If you have a really good leader, doesn't matter how the talent on your team. If you have a guy who is motivating their team to want to win and giving them this motivation to just go out there and destroy, who cares if you're not as talented as the team playing opposite you? If you have that heart and you get that great leadership to get you to push yourself and to try to win every game, that's something that if people really embrace it, it can change the whole organization. Tom Brady trying to do it with the Bucs.
Any last thoughts, Ryan, before we wrap this up?
Let's go to the defensive side of the ball real quick.
Earlier today, Tampa's schedule. There's going to be some real fun matchups coming up this season with Tom Brady's Buccaneers. Obviously, they play the Saints twice, so that's Brady Brees twice. They play the Falcons twice, and Brady versus the Falcons. That'll be fun. We'll get Brady versus possibly get Brady versus Foles again because I know they play Chicago, and then we're going to get Brady versus Rodgers because they play Green Bay as well. Yes. So some fun matchups. I know it's going to take some getting used to, but I think it's going to be fun watching TV to TV.
Yeah, we get to see the Super Bowl matchup possibly with Foles. We'll see if he's starting, and then we get to see the great quarterbacks playing up against each other. And just something that Tyler pointed out the other day, he said how Drew Brees is the only quarterback technically in the NFC South because Cam Newton's not gone yet that hasn't won the MVP. So that just shows you the talent in that. Although with the Panthers, they're sending the guy that won the MVP most likely away. But it's still a stat that I can say, and it's true, and it's just the facts.
Yeah, Jordan, you talked about the defense, too. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll talk a second about the defense. So the Buccaneers put the franchise tag on, why am I blanking on his name? That's not
Shaq Barrett.
Shaq Barrett, thank you.
There you go.
I don't know why I blanked on it. I went into it knowing exactly what I was going to say, but that's just how I do sometimes. I blank on names. So anyways, they re-signed, or they put the franchise tag on Shaq Barrett. I was doing so good. I'll start doing better. So they put the franchise on Shaq Barrett. Now I say it for the third time. And he had a lot of sacks last year, the main presence on the defense for Tampa Bay. He was kind of the diamond in the rough for that defense.
Yes, he was.
So franchise tagging him, he was a hot commodity, and they get to keep him. Have to improve on that defense, but Shaq Barrett, he's talked about the leadership on offense with Tom Brady. He's going to become a leader on defense with Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I expect him to cause some havoc rushing the opposing quarterbacks in the NFC South and everyone else in their division.
Yeah, also watch out for Devin White, an
That's true.
underrated
I forgot about
guy.
him.
Going into his second year, he actually had a pretty
He did.
good rookie year, but kind of an underrated guy that could start to pop up, especially with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers
really
starting
good.
to get some more primetime lights.
I'm glad you pointed it out.
All right, so Tom Brady, in case you've been living under a rock and skip to this part of the video, he's with the Buccaneers now. Tom Brady is officially a Buccaneer. It's officially official. His contract is very similar to that of Philip Rivers and Drew Brees' contracts in terms of money. That seems about fair at this point in all of their careers. So thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, comment your opinions down below about my voice crack or anything else that happened in this entire video.
Don't worry, I forgot Shaq Barrett's name. So.
Once again,
but who's surprised, really?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I knew it right before I was going to say it, and then sometimes it just blanked.
You know that happens sometimes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
These guys experience it a lot.
Thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Yeah.